We're at the University of Toronto in the Galbraith Building, 35 St. George Street. And we see tabling today, there's some campus agriculture. How you doing?
I'm doing okay. How are you doing?
I'm good. You're Jacob?
Yes.
Yeah, well, you've been on our videos before. So what are you doing today?
Today we're having an impromptu seed-ins with different students and faculty in the engineering department here and around the campus.
So where do these seeds come from?
These seeds are coming from all around the world, really. Mm-hmm. In our gardens, we're growing plants that have co-evolved over hundreds, thousands of years. Many of these seeds, though, are coming from local seed farmers and seed companies.
What's a seed farmer?
A seed farmer is a farmer who grows plants for seed. And so...
specifically for seeds rather than...
Specifically for seed rather than for consumption or for food. And so you would have... when you're growing for seeds, there's a special kinds of farms where you have to maintain certain distances between crops that could cross-pollinate, and you want to do selective breeding of the crops so that you have the best traits in each one. And this is something that we've done as a civilization for thousands of years, which is what's given us, the incredible diversity of the food crops we have today.
When people are talking about crop breeding and plant breeding, what exactly are they referring to for those who might not be too familiar with the terminology?
Well, perhaps Yanni could, talk about the actual genetics and evolution of crop breeding.
Crop breeding is something that we've been doing since pretty much the dawn of our species. In fact, the word culture comes from the Latin colere, which means to till, to cultivate, and to worship. So, in our interaction with plants, even if we're not consciously choosing which plants to breed, which plants to develop, every time we eat something, every time we plant something, every time we throw something away, we're making choices that affect the genetic pools of plants. GMO crops are just another sort of facet to this altering of plant genes.
GMO, genetically modified?
Yeah, genetically modified organism are another facet. That's a facet which not everybody is comfortable with for different reasons. But one of the problems that we see with GMO crops is the loss of biodiversity, the shifting control is like who owns the seeds, and maybe health implications as well, depending on what research you're looking at.
So what do they people mean when they say that crossbreeding, cross pollination? Can you tell us a little bit about what that means exactly?
Yeah, so with most plant breeding systems, essentially there's a male component and a female component to the plants. So there's the ovary, which gets fertilized, and there's the pollen, which fertilizes the ovary, and eventually...
So pollen's sort of like sperm?
The pollen's like plant sperm, the ovary's like a plant egg, is a good way to think about it, like human or animal analogy.
Yeah.
And when the ovule gets fertilized, then that's what becomes the fruit, right? And if you say you're growing a bunch of plants, pollen is virtually uncontrollable in some plant systems, right? So, for example, corn, the pollen from genetically modified corn will get into even the purest lines and most secluded lines of corn, just because the pollen's so small and it travels so widely and with so much fecundity. It's very very potent pollen. GMO crops affect not just the people growing them, but also the people that aren't growing them, people that choose not to grow them. The genetic pool of those GMO crops gets into the broader genetic pool as a result of just the nature of those plant systems.
Are there male and female plants? Like every individual plant is either a male or a female, or is it?
That depends on the type of plant system. So for example, certain trees. Certain trees, like ginkgo trees are a good example.
Ginkgo biloba from the Amazon,
from China.
Oh,
Ginkgo,
okay. Okay, my bad.
So ginkgo has specific male trees and female trees. A female tree will produce fruit, ovules and then eventually fruit. The male tree will just produce pollen. So these are two different genders of tree. And that's called dioeciousness. So when you have
deliciousness.
Dioecious comes from die, like two,
Yeah.
and oikos, house, right? So two houses, meaning you need two houses to house the genders. And that's one system. Then there's monoecious, where you have plants that within the one individual will have two different types of flowers, so male flowers and female flowers, but the tree will have both, just not in the same flower.
Hermaphrodite tree in an anthropomorphic sort of way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then another system again is perfect flowers, which is plants that within the flower have both male and female parts, and that's probably the most common agriculturally speaking.
Okay. Okay. You know what? You know anything about these dried up samples right here? Give me a little.
I'm not sure. These are just display samples. So I'm not sure what's going on with these. This is okra, so this is a really good plant to have in stir fries. It's from the Malvaceae.
Malvaceae?
Yeah, which is a plant family that also includes durian and cacao, so chocolate.
Nice.
Cola nut, like Coca-Cola, even though it's no longer in Coca-Cola. A couple other
There's
things.
not cocaine in there either
No.
anymore.
So yeah, okra is just a good plant to chop up, put in stir fry. This one of the things that characterizes this family is this large amounts of mucilage. So it'll give your stir fry some body, that's for sure.
Mucilage, mucus.
Mucus.
It's
Plant
mucus-like. Okay. Very appetizing, yeah.
And then here, I'm not sure what type of bean this
It's
is.
an
Yeah.
Italian pole bean. That's all
Pole bean?
the information we'll give you.
Italian, wow.
And it's nice, it's nice when we have seeds to not just have the seeds, but to have some context for them, i.e., where they came from, right? To show what the fruit looks like, what the process is like of interacting with the fruit to bring the seeds out of it.
Okay, sounds interesting. Alright, what?
So also the diversity of seeds is it okay if I open this? Can I open this, Jacob?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the diversity of seeds is also
for science,
a pretty amazing thing. So here we have one seed from
Looks
a
like
bean
yeah, bean. Looks like
Yeah.
a jelly belly or jelly bean.
compared
Yeah.
with this is a little bit. That's that dust right there. That's like 30 or so tobacco seeds.
Tobacco.
So just comparing
Cigarettes, yeah.
comparing the size of the seed, it's it's a good idea to give people an understanding of just how different seeds are, how different crops are. People are used to go into a supermarket, you see what you're familiar with, but really there's a huge amount of biodiversity, and unfortunately, a lot of these heirloom varieties of plants that have been with us for a couple hundred years are now disappearing really quickly. So it's almost like when you lose an endangered species, like once it's gone, it's gone. Similar to heirloom variety seeds, once you lose that variety, it takes a long time to get something.
So tell me about this seed library you're starting up.
Okay, so here in Toronto, we've initiated the Toronto Seed Library. So essentially, we're gathering, organizing, and planning to disseminate free seeds and knowledge through the Toronto Public Library system, schools, community centers, and other public spaces.
Right.
And so currently we've confirmed about half a dozen locations around the city, and we've received thousands of packages of seeds from seed farmers and seed companies all across the continent, really. And we're planning on sharing free seeds and knowledge with as many people, whoever wants to grow
Free.
free.
Yeah. How many different types of seeds?
Well, currently I don't have an exact figure, but we have, I would say, maybe well over 500 varieties of seeds at the moment
Okay.
within the collection. But there are collections of seeds all around the city, and these collections, whether they're with community gardens or different urban agriculture projects, they have leftover seeds that they can't use because they have limited space. And then these seeds just sit in closets, in bags, and they're not used, and they go to waste. And so we're gathering this extra resources that are all around, and then putting it to a good use, getting into the hands of people who want to grow.
Okay.
So imagine walking into your library and there's a little branch, there's a little kiosk that you can just go and you can, borrow whatever kind of seed you want, and then the information on how to use it. And then the implication is that a few people would return the seeds in the fall to replenish the library, and then we would also have large donations of seeds coming in from seed farmers around the city.
Okay. Anything online people can check out to get
We
more
have
information?
currently there's a Facebook page, Toronto Seed Library, and also an email, and we're working on a website. that will have a map of all the different branches and information on how to grow the seed and information pertaining to the unit.
I've gotten 3 types of seeds that I'm going to try this year from my friend Yanni over there. Advised me. What I'm going to be specializing in this year is the 3 sisters: corn, beans, and squash. It's a native agricultural technique. The corn provides bean poles for the beans, and the squash provides protection from pests, as well as the leaves retain the moisture and keep the soil cool. And I've gotten these, let's see, cinnamon basil. This is right here from Sky Garden that we're checking out. Coriander and dill, which are 3 types of spices that actually keep pests away. So this year I'll be planting 3 sisters as well as some spices to keep the bugs that might eat it or start up colonies right at my garden, keep them away. So we'll see how that turns out this year. So these are 3 types of seeds I got today, and we'll buy the corns, beans, and squash in the near future.